Hi guys, welcome to Tarot in the Dark. My name is Tori. Tonight I'm recording a special reading. This is a new moon in Gemini reading, okay? It is the new moon in Gemini when I'm recording this reading. I've been feeling a ton of energy around newness and I keep hearing the word release. And so I wanted to just do a reading on this specific new moon and we'll just see what the ancestors and what spirit has to say, okay? Hope everyone's doing well. If you haven't already, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe on this video if it happens to resonate with you. I do have a ton of other readings, ancestor messages. There are some older zodiac readings. There are some pick a card readings, a ton of different topics that will lead you to authentic healing. So if you're interested in finding the root cause, getting to the bottom of things, and getting to some sort of resolution in situations that have caused trauma in your past, feel free to check out some of the previous videos as well as resources that I offer. I appreciate you being here, and let's go ahead and dig in, okay? So immediately what we have here is, wow, Descendant with invitation, and then we have the Aquarius card here with collaborate. So the first thing that I want to bring our attention to is this Descendant card. Now, when you ascend, it's going down, right? When you descend, typically it would be going upwards. And what I'm referring to is when, like, they're showing me in word, when you ascend and descend, you know, it's up and down. And so they're showing that. They're saying that this new moon is going to offer you an opportunity, or as the card says, an invitation to elevate, to promote, to rise above and out of something. Okay, this rising above and out of something could be what's being released. For a lot of you listening to this reading, this is going to have something to do with partnerships, with connections, because the bottom of the deck here, we have Juno with partnership, and then also underneath that, we have the fourth house with home. This is Cancerian energy, and then we have an ascendant here underneath this with entrance, okay? And I want to just draw on or bring attention to these energies because these play a significant role in things that are happening right now. So there's a ton of energy that you probably are feeling, this like Mars energy lately. It's as if things are starting to pick up and move. I've probably been energetically feeling this like in the last week or so. And so I'm not an astrologer, but energetically I can feel these things, as I'm sure you can as well. There's something that's shifting and releasing something that has been keeping us stuck, stagnant, or stalled when it comes to relationships, partnerships, and connections. For someone, I'm hearing that you've been waiting a long time. But they're showing me that there's been some resistance in the process of waiting. So this invitation is being offered to you in this moment because it is divine timing. But they're also showing me that karmic cycles have been cleared out, that you've allowed yourself to open to a different perspective, which is very interesting because this new moon in Gemini is about that. The new moon in Gemini is about expanding your mindset and awakening the ability to be able to see things from a different perspective, to think about things from a different perspective, and to communicate from a different perspective. So Gemini energy is like, think about the Ace of Swords in tarot. This is the energy of things being clearly distinguished. So there's something to do with the partnership, with the relationship, with connections, divine counterparts, and connections. This, if you believe in like twin flame and soulmates and stuff like that, then you could categorize this, but I just am not going to speak to that because I just don't get myself involved in that. I just, whatever everybody wants to believe is what everybody wants to believe. But I just am opting out of that for the sake of the reading. But there's something about like you now being aligned with the divine counterpart that was intended for you, and it's because you've been pouring into yourself, for starters, but also you're ready for someone to now pour into you. And this new moon in Gemini is going to offer you this invitation. Now, I want to highlight the invitation because it keeps showing that to me. This is only an invitation, and as we know, when you receive a wedding invitation in the mail, it's only an invitation, right? You have to be the one to accept the invitation and choose to collaborate. You have to choose to attend the wedding. You have to choose and make a choice to clearly see your path forward. And they're bringing to my attention the fact that for some of you here, you haven't really made that decision. And that's part of the reason why you weren't prepared for this. There's a lot of fear, anxiety, overwhelming emotions, things like that are showing up right now to signify the fact that you've probably been in some traumatizing or challenging relationships in the past, which have kind of led you to the space to where you're like, I don't really know that I'm fully prepared. There's almost like they're showing me somebody running a race and then getting to the last lap and slowing down. And if you think about that, if you're running in a competition and you get to the last lap, there's no way that you're going to slow down, because you would want to be determined to win and to push forward. But what you've been doing is slowing down now that you're at the almost finish line. That's how this feels. So they're inviting you to step over the finish line into this new life, this new experience, which is with this collaborate and this Aquarian energy. This is where you're supposed to be. This is the offering or the gift that you have been praying for. You know, Aquarian energy is the water bearer. So it's almost like these are the emotions that you've been seeking, that you've been desiring. It's also the star card in traditional tarot. So this is about you being willing to accept the invitation to heal past traumatic experiences around love and open yourself up to true divine connections, which are aligned with your best and highest good, right? These things are aligned with where you're going, not where you were. They're not aligned with where you're at just right now, but also right now and in the future, because someone is saying, I don't know that I want to give this another shot. I don't know that I want to try love again if it's not going to be permanent. If someone is going to set up a temporary residency in my heart, I don't want it. But your team is very clear, and Spirit is speaking very clearly to the fact that this is no longer a possibility. If someone enters your life because of what you've been pouring into yourself. Now, if you haven't been pouring into yourself, if you haven't been aligning yourself with Spirit's path, with your ancestors' path, then this reading is probably not for you. Reading is for those who have been putting in the work, who have been focused on themselves, who have been desiring connection with Spirit, and who have been okay with, you know, just being independent and focusing on their own individual successes and victories. You know, it's the person who's able to validate themselves, not seeking people pleasing, people's approval and codependency. You know, those things can be a challenge. So there's no expectation that anyone is perfect. However, this is for the person who has put in the work, who is aware of the fact that in order for, you know, some people to do life, you are aligned with a partnership. Now, the way that they're having me word that is very specific, and I want to just call this out. They said, don't say that it's, basically they're telling me that everyone is not aligned with a partnership, okay? For some people, your path in life is for you to be single. And if that's you, then you're going to know, because you're not going to think twice about whether or not a partnership is for you. You're going to be aligned to the path that is for you. For others, your path is aligned with a divine counterpart, because the two of you together are to collaborate and progress the whole, the collective together as a unit. Okay, so you're going to know exactly who you are and what category you fall into. But if you're not interested in a divine counterpart, or if you don't feel like that's Spirit's path for you, then this may not be your reading, unless you can just grab little tickets or tokens from the reading. But there's a lot of healing that you have done, and that's why this invitation is being offered to you. They want me to continue to emphasize the fact that this is only an invitation, and that unless you choose to collaborate and accept this pouring out on this offering that is being gifted to you, then it will just be an invitation. They're also signifying the importance of the fact that this is going to promote you. This is going to elevate you. This union is going to be for your best and highest good. That this union is aligned with where you are going and where Spirit is, pushing you towards or nudging you. There's been a ton of lessons for you in regards to love. They're showing me Saturn. So you've gone through all the challenges that you went through in order to prepare you for this space that you're in or that you're moving into if you accept this invitation. I'm being shown this story that Spirit told me when I was asking and inquiring why I had to go through so much hell in my romantic partnership. Like, why was this marriage that I, walked away from of 20 years so challenging? Like, why? I just didn't understand that. It was very, very hard for me to grasp why I would have to go through so much. I'm like, it did not take that much to teach me those lessons. Trust me, guys. Like, that's what I was telling Spirit and my ancestors. Like, there's no way you guys had to do all of that to get me to see that wasn't where I needed to be. Like, you could have showed me a ton of other ways, but what they showed me was this this jar. And so let me use the sound bowl. You'll have to forgive me because there's stuff in here, guys. But imagine this bowl being filled with a bunch of tickets like this. So in my family, we do something called a love knot jar. And we take a jar, like a mason jar, like maybe something like this candle jar, or about that size or bigger. And for people's birthdays, we would typically take the mason jar. We would write little individual notes. Over the years, we've typed them up, and we would just have everybody in the family type up memories, just little love messages, things that you love about this person, that you appreciate about this person. We would put them in little notes like this. We would bundle them up. Usually we would tie them with a little ribbon, drop them in the bin, and we would fill it up. So the bin would be like this little mason jar. So we would drop them in the jar, fill them up, and then for someone's birthday, we would give them that as a gift. So whenever that person needed to know how loved they are, they could go and they could pull a love note, and they would know how much we love them. So what Spirit showed me was that my love life was like the love knots that we made in the family. And, it was shown to me that imagine this being full of, imagine this sound bowl being full of notes, and all of the notes say lesson, 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 lesson. And then there's one little note in there that says love. And so Spirit showed me that all of the experiences, it's not people, okay, but all of those experiences are lessons, and those lessons are to get you to that love, that one little love note in there that was authentic, pure, and that was intended by Spirit to last. And so for a lot of us, we tend to hold on to the negatives, and I know I'm definitely guilty of that, holding on to the negatives as like I said, why did it take so much for me to have to recognize I wasn't supposed to be in this relationship, and why did it have to be so traumatic for me, for my son, my family, and Spirit just showed me, because those were experiences that you needed to build and prepare you for this love that I've destined for you. Now, you can believe whatever you want to believe. You can believe that not all partnerships are supposed to be lasting forever, and I believe that too. You can believe that you're supposed to have one person that's your soulmate, your twin flame, whatever you want to title it, and you can think that that's supposed to be the person that you're with for the rest of your life. All I know is that Spirit's message was very clear to me in that moment, that those lessons were necessary in order to get me to that love that I had been praying and crying for. And so for this reading, Spirit is saying that the new moon in Gemini very clearly is going to provide you with that love, but the rest of it was the lessons that were needed in order for you to be able to gain the perspective that you have right now. And then we have this divinity card out here. Okay. And this divinity card is showing up for me as divine timing, but it's also showing that there were lessons that you learned in the process of these traumatic experiences with Saturn showing up that have showed you very clearly how connected to the divine you are, and also the divinity within you, like your ability to actually create something out of nothing, right? Like you took your pain and you transmuted the pain into something that you clearly see now as a purpose or a gift, a calling, right? Something that you can actually make, you know, magic out of, rather than it being something that is going to continue to devour your heart and steal your joy. And so, you know, your team is showing up to say here that this new moon in Gemini is offering you an opportunity to experience even more of the divinity within. I love this divinity card. It literally is also showing up as like the star card. Showing up like the star card, where there's this ability to be able to see things clearly when it comes to your healing. It's almost like you've learned the lessons of healing through some sort of transparency, vulnerability, humility. And this invitation that the new moon is offering you. See, new moons are all about new beginnings, whereas full moons represent releasing. And it's interesting because, you know, they initiated the reading by saying like release. I kept hearing release, release. But the release has already taken place. So now it's time for you to embrace the new. It's time for you to experience divine love. It's time for you to experience what love that is peaceful feels like. It's time for you to, you know, this is, okay. A part of, you know, divine love, having a divine counterpart, is healing. And those parts, those patches, those lessons that come with that can also be very, very, very challenging. Okay. So there's something about the joys and the pains of this divine connection. And I think that's part of the reason why this is an invitation to you, because in order for you to be able to accept the invitation, you're going to have to accept it with the understanding that this comes with some sort of pain and suffering. And the pain and suffering, although it has nothing, you know, on the things that you've already endured, it's not the Three of Swords energy. It's the star energy, Aquarian energy, where you are going to actually heal through feeling, observing the pain, through, you know, analyzing and assessing and really being able to sit with the pain. Because this partnership that is either already here or coming in for you is going to be very triggering. And it's going to be triggering because it's going to invite you to shift out of the old, which is where that release comes in. That makes sense. They're inviting you to release the old, outdated version of you. When I say outdated, it's like you've been promoting and elevating. You've been descending out of the mountain or the valley, right? You're coming out of it, yet it's going to require that you gently and softly allow yourself to be pulled out without resisting the releasing of the old. Because again, this relationship is going to be very triggering. This relationship is going to put you on edge. And for a lot of you, you're going to absolutely want to run away from it. But with the divinity, they're saying we need you to be reminded of the fact that this is divine, that we've put this together, that this is being divinely orchestrated. And not only that, it's a part of your plan. Your divine plan is for you to be in this union and this connection, but it is so that you can heal and resolve. And, you know, they're showing me Aquarian energy too, when it's, you know, Aquarian is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is the planet of like disruption. Okay. But the disruption, like think about like the tower. The tower comes in to uproot things within us that are unstable, that are not going to be solid and sturdy, right? For example, if you're building something and you don't have a solid foundation, it's going to go kaput at some point. And so the tower has come in, Uranian energy has come in and disrupted all of the energies within you. It's been disrupting all of the energies within you. And with the support of Saturn, shaking things up in an attempt to push you into the desire to release the old and usher in the new. And it starts with having clarity in your mind, which is why this new moon in Gemini is so significant. There's clarity being presented to you in your mind in regards to what's no longer working, what needs to be released. And this invitation is saying, will you release it by seeing this new as an opportunity from the divine, or will you stay attached to it because it's comfortable for you? There's this nagging energy that has been like lingering over you for a period of time. I want to say like as far back as the beginning of 2026, where it's almost like a nudging, but it feels very nagging. Like, hey, are you gonna get out of this? Are you gonna get out of this? And you've been feeling it, but now is the opportunity to actually release and step into the new. Wow, that's wow. So go back to Capricorn season. That's what they're showing me. Go back to Capricorn season, which would have been in, you know, the end of December, January, and think about where you were and what you were working on releasing then, and then kind of push forward, like fast forward until, you know, this month, until June. And have you felt a stronger push to let go of whatever it was that you were trying to release in January? You know, and I think that you would probably say, yeah, I noticed that. So this invitation has been offered to you. It's been on the table, but now they're like, do you want it or not? Do you want it or not? Do you want it or not? Wow, this is not the card that I was thinking was here. Financial security. It's purposeful though. This relationship, this partnership is purposeful, and this is going to support your financial stability and security. Okay, this is like, I never even like paid attention to this, but this is the what's his name? He's a Greek god. Hold on. Okay, guys, so I was thinking about Apollo when I saw this like Greek god here, and Apollo is the Greek god who represents the sun and light, also like music, poetry, things like that, but healing and plagues, prophecy and knowledge, and archery. Okay, so what was coming through was like, I was just seeing this Greek god, and it was showing up as like, this is something that was predestined. So it's predestined for this person to enter your life. And this financial security card talks about finding financial security in partnerships. Okay, so it's like whether it's a business partnership or romantic partnership, there's financial security that's being offered to you. Another thing that was coming through is this like tarantula here, and you know, this is like a large spider. There may be larger spiders, but for me, that's a large spider. So this large spider is representing the fact that you're going to conquer the goals and the mission that you have when it comes to this connection, and being able to overcome the challenges that it may represent. Not only am I picking up on financial security, but there's something about emotional security within this connection that is not like any connection or experiences that you've had in the past. There's something about like the wisdom that you've gained, the ability to heal and stay connected to the divine as a union, that's going to be extremely supportive when it comes to your emotions. What they're showing is like someone who was detached from emotions is now going to learn how to become attached. It's almost like this relationship is going to provide you with clarity when it comes to healthy relationships, partnerships, as well as healthy ways of communicating. And they're showing me like your ability to be able to be your authentic self in this space with this person, which has not been the like the truth in the past for you. It's not that you were like being fake or anything. It's more so like you didn't have the tools, the wisdom, or the resources in previous relationships to be, you know, who you are today. So there's some type of like wisdom and knowledge that has been gained in those lessons that were in the bucket that have supported and assisted you in getting to this space that you're in right now. Now, this purification card came out as well as the adventure card, and I love this, both of these energies, because this purification is exactly what you've been going through. This new moon is offering you an opportunity to step into the life that you have been cleansed and purified for. Okay, does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, because that's how it's showing to me, is like you have gone through this cleansing process. Again, with the Aquarian energy, that's all about being transparent and, you know, being able to carry the weight of the emotions but then releasing them. This partnership, I think, is supporting you with that. And again, they're drawing me back to Saturn and just being able to learn the lessons in regards to what healthy relationships, partnerships, and connections have gone through. And because you have gone through this purification process, now you're cleansed, you've been washed, okay? So imagine like you're getting out of the shower and you have this towel wrapped around you. Now you're being invited to put on new clothes, to step into a new experience, because those old things don't fit you anymore. So the clothes that you wore before you got in the shower and were purified, they no longer fit you. So you have this towel wrapped around you and you're being invited to step into an experience that will allow you to thrive as this new version of you. And that's like amazing. The bottom of the deck here is transformation, which there's a butterfly here, obviously, right? But there's also dragonflies around. And this is just representative of the fact that you're being spiritually guided through this transformation, that you're not walking this path alone, but that you are being supported and really nurtured through this transformation process. So now we can use another metaphor, which would be that you're no longer in that cocooning phase, or the chrysalis phase of the caterpillar. Now you're a butterfly. And so you're ready to push and pursue and to move beyond and to step into this new as an adventure. There's something about the new moon that's giving you clarity when it comes to seeing this not as an obstacle, but rather an adventure. When you're going on an adventure, you're typically excited about it, right? Like, oh my gosh, we're going to go on an adventure. I'm going to have fun. It's not like, oh my God, this is going to be terrible. I don't want to go. You know, if so, then you would probably back out. But there's something about this adventure card that's showing up to say that you're recognizing that that's what life is about. Maybe this new moon in Gemini, what am I saying? Gemini cricket. There's something about this new moon in Gemini that's allowing you to see a different perspective. It's literally like showing up as this new moon in Gemini is like a new moon in Sagittarius, where it's expanding your perspective. But for you in this reading, it's specifically around your love life, partnerships, connections. And I think that the fears that you have or had will still be present, but they're going to be minimal. And it's more so like, I'm going to accept this invitation no matter what, because I recognize how powerful this is going to be for my life. And really, you're going to do it afraid. That's what I want to say. This looks like somebody saying, I'm going to do this afraid. I'm going to do this afraid. There's also something about this connection that I think you want to keep very like sacred or secret even maybe. Like you want to protect this relationship, and I think you want to protect it because it's almost like you recognize that there are predators on this adventure with this person. So it's like you're fully aware of the fact that other people may be challenged by the success that you are going to have or are having in this partnership, and you're wanting to keep yourself as protected, you and this other person, as protected as possible, because you recognize the sacredness of this union. Because that's also another thing I'm seeing with this divinity card, is that there is something very sacred about this connection, and I'm sure you recognize that, which is why I think you're accepting the invitation. I think the invitation is being accepted because you're like, oh my God, there's no way I'm out on this. It's been a long time to get here, though. You'll notice that the Knight of Pentacles is here with the Moon and the Chariot. This is you making the decision to take your time in moving forward with this, even though you have these fears, these insecurities, I want to say, with the Moon. And these resistant moments. That's how I want to word it. There are moments where you feel resistant to accepting this invitation, but you recognize the power that is in this connection. I also do think that you are fully aware of the financial gains of being in connection with this particular person. So I'm not sure if this person is well off or if you are well off, but there's some type of benefits, even if it's not just financial. If you're just seeing this from a very practical, like emotional benefit, you see that there's a benefit with being with this person, and it's something that I don't think you're willing to risk. Now with this Moon energy here, there is just a little bit of a warning to allow the new moon to keep your thoughts clear. And what that means is recognize that you may get caught up in this Moon energy. Your emotions may overtake you. However, pull yourself back out of the situation in a very practical way with this Knight of Pentacles and see this from a higher perspective. That's what the Chariot does. The Chariot sits above the ground, so it's not looking at, the scorpions or the ants on the ground when it's rolling down the road. It's because it's seeing things from a different perspective, because it's elevated in its perception. And so I'm confident that this new moon is offering you an elevated perspective when it comes to your feelings, those wounds, those traumas, those experiences that may make you feel or cause you to feel insecure or inadequate, or even challenged by the fact that you're going to accept this invitation. Allow yourself to see this clearly. Oh my gosh, guys. Wow, wow, and wow. Wow. The Hierophants at the bottom of the deck. The Hierophants at the bottom of the deck to signify the fact that you are going to surrender over. Okay, I am seeing you surrender over to the divine. And then you have the Three of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, and the Empress. The Hierophant is representing your willingness to surrender to the divinity within you and allowing yourself to let go, to release. You're letting go, you're releasing, because you're accepting this abundance, okay? So if you have been resisting, this new moon in Gemini is going to open you into the space to accept, okay? The Empress energy here is showing that you have been purging yourself of the old, outdated ideas, thoughts, perspectives, those wounds of the emotions that make you feel, like you're not ready for this, you're not sure how you're going to handle it. You've been purging. These are the things that have been purified out of you. Now, it doesn't mean, and I want to just call this out, that doesn't mean that they're gone. Okay, you notice in this purification card that when the waterfall falls, when there's water falling off the cliff here, if you stand close enough, you're going to feel some of those little remnants, I guess you could say, or the sprinkles, the dusting of water is what I want to say. I don't know what it's called, but the dusting of water, like the mist. Yeah, thank you, Spirit. They're like, mist, girl. I'm like, okay, got it. But the mist, you're going to feel the mist when you stand close to the waterfall. So when you are connected to your emotions, there's still going to be remnants, fragments, pieces, mist that is going to be felt. But that mist, when you are allowing, when you're in this space of the Empress, the mist is not going to sting. It's not going to be harmful. There's going to be a recognition that, wow, it's refreshing that I can connect to these emotions. This is refreshing that I can connect to these energies, because if you've been through traumatic experiences in partnerships in specific, which is what we're talking about, you recognize that avoiding those emotions is going to cause you more pain. If you are listening to this reading and this reading is resonating with you, it's because you've been doing the work, okay? Oftentimes we want to negate the fact that we've done as much work as we have. We want to minimize or shrink down the work that we have done. But if you're here and you're catching this, You've done the work. Please give yourself a break. You've done the work. So when you feel the emotions of the moon, don't think, oh my God, I haven't learned the lessons. What am I doing? Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Oh my gosh, this is going to fail. If I'm feeling insecure, I'm not going to be able to continue on with this relationship. Don't give in to that. Pull back and remind yourself that you're operating from the Empress energy, that you are capable of receiving just as much as you are of giving. That stability with the Four of Wands is aligned with you because you are stability, and that the Three of Pentacles is your way forward, collaborating patiently, gently, and with the same mission, goal, and purpose at hand. The Three of Pentacles represents those who work towards the same goal because they have the same purpose. So you and this person, although different, have the same mission and purpose if they are aligned with you. Now, a healthy relationship is going to be, yes, this person triggers me. I feel like I need to correct these things within me because when they say this to me, I recognize that I'm triggered by my old wounds. Oh my gosh, this is coming up. I can't believe this. How am I going to correct it? That's a healthy relationship. The person is not beating you up. They're not making you feel defeated. And in fact, they're building your confidence by helping you to see how capable you are of rising above all of the experiences and the lessons that you have in that bucket that you've gained. An unhealthy partnership is one where, oh my God, if he leaves me, she leaves me, what am I going to do? I'm not going to be able to function if they leave me. Oh my God, what are they doing? Oh my God, he didn't answer. She didn't answer. I have to go. I need to go find them. I need to look through their phone. I need to figure out what's going on. Oh my gosh, they are going to be able to provide for me financially. I don't have to work. I don't have to do anything ever again. I'm set. You know, those are unhealthy habits. When two people are reliant and dependent upon each other and able to come together and work through those triggers, those traumas, those experiences, that's a healthy relationship. And this feels very, very, very healthy. Triggering, yes. Drawing out all your insecurities, yes, my friend. But this is healthy. If it's showing up in the way that it is in this reading, this is healthy. This is purposeful. This is mission-based connection. This is a connection that has been set up by your ancestors and spirit. This has been orchestrated from the time you were created. And so you're being invited to step into this new experience with the new moon through the lens of clarity. And through the ability to clearly assess these emotions, traumas, and insecurities that you have, seeing them for what they are, opportunities to be purified and cleansed. There are opportunities to experience more love and to gain the lessons of Saturn in order to be and experience this beautiful adventure that this connection is offering you. I mean, I don't think you could ask for more than this. I mean, godly, this is amazing. And it's showing up that not only are you going to have stability within yourself, stability in this partnership, stability in this connection, but you're also going to have stability that is financial, material, being able to reap what you've sown and be blessed with an abundance and harvest due to the work that you've put in. Wow, this is an invitation to heal your wounds around relationship once and for all. And I mean, this is beautiful. If this is you, kudos to you, my friend. This is amazing. Like I'm excited to hear about this. Please, 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 if you haven't already, drop a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel. God, I'm so happy that you're here. But this is amazing. This new moon in Gemini is opening you up to an entirely new world through the shift in your perspective. This is amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. The new moon in Gemini starts on the 14th of June, which is when I'm recording this. And I think it ends probably in the middle of the night, 2 or 3 in the morning, I think I saw somewhere. Okay, guys, I hope you're doing great. Have a good night. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.